You gave me the letter. I guess it was July.
Hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel today. In today's lesson we are going to learn how to draft a shoulder princess dart. And to achieve this shoulder princess dart, we are going to manipulate our bust dart to achieve this. Please, if you are new to this channel, kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this all the time. Like, share to family and friends, drop your comments on the comment section below. So to begin this tutorial, I'm going to make use of the following measurements. These are the measurement parameters we are going to make use of in this shoulder princess dart drafting. And I'm going to concentrate my drafting today on the front bodies. Okay, and now you can see I have my shoulder here and my center front, and I'm going to place my vertical measurements now. My vertical measurements, starting from the shoulder, I'll be placing my tape and I'm going to take my bust point. I have a bust point here of 10 inches. Okay, and I'm going to take my half length. I have a half length of 16 inches. Then the full pepper. Okay, the pepper length will serve as my hip length for today's drafting. So I'm going to repeat this to get a straight line. On this point, I'll also take my 10 inches. Then I'm going to square my line. Now for the demonstration of this shoulder princess dart, I'm going to use a neckline of 3 inches by width and 3 inches depth. This is for illustration purpose. Now I'm going to connect my line to get my shoulder line. Although this is not really the main purpose for this tutorial. Now I'm going to place my shoulder measurement. I have a shoulder of 15 inches. I'll divide it by 2, and I have 7 inches. I'll place 7.5 inches. Then on the point of 7.5 inches, I'm going to drop my shoulder by 1 inch, and I'm going to connect my line to the point of, as you can see. Then I'm going to determine my chest line. I'm going to place my tape, and I'm going to determine my chest line. My chest line can be determined by taking the measurement of our round armhole, divide by 2. Okay, in this case I have 7.5, but you can also use your bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5, and you still come back to the 7.5 inches. So I will be placing my shoulder line here at 7.5. Then 1 inch drop of your shoulder plus 7.5 will give you 8.5. So to get a straight line, you place another 8.5 points. Then you are going to now square your line. Okay, I'll be squaring this line from this point, as you can see. Now on this line is my chest line. On this chest line, I'm going to place the measurement of my half shoulder. You remember I have 7.5 inches here. I'll take it on this line, on the chest line, to get a straight line. I'll mark 7.5 inches. Now this 7.5 inches, I'm going to place my ruler from the shoulder drop. So this is 7.5 inches, and I'm going to divide it by 2. So I'm going to place my tape, as you can see, and this is what I have as half of it. That is 3/4. Then I'm going to make a mark of 3/4 or 3.75. That is my mid shoulder line. Now it's time to place our bust circumference measurement, and on this measurement I have my bust circumference, or round bust, as 36, and I'm going to divide it by 4 because I'm working on 1/4 of my bust. And at that point of the center front, as you can see, 36 divided by 4, I have 9 inches. This is my 9 inches here. Okay, The across shoulder measurement for the front, that is what we are going to use. I have 13.5. Then we are going to divide it by 2 because we are working on a part of our front. Okay, so dividing 13.5 by 2, I'm left with 6.75. So I'm going to place my tape on the center front, and I'm going to make a mark of 6.75. okay, so this is my 6.75 here, or 6¾ now. I'm going to connect this line. You can watch how I'm connecting this line. I'm connecting from the shoulder drop to the point of 6.75. Then with my pattern master, I'm going to connect. Please watch how I'm connecting. So you can see I'm done connecting my line now. You can see I have my armhole drawn for the front. So the next thing we are going to do is to place our bust, our dart, and our dart will be determined by our bust span. I have a bust span of 7.25, and I'm going to divide this 7.5 by 2, and I'll be left with 3.6. So I'll be placing my tape on the bust point from the center front, and I'm going to make a mark of 3.6. This is 3.5 and this is 3.6. I'll come down to the waist. I'll also take 3.6, and I'll come down to the hip, and so I'm going to connect all these lines you are seeing right now. These points, I'm going to connect them. So this is going to serve as our dart leg. So the next thing I'm going to do is to place my darts on the half length. And for this tutorial, I'm going to place a dart of 1.25 or 1/1/4 for the front. And this dart of 1/1/4, as you can see, I'm going to share 1/1/4 into 2, or 1.25 into 2. You can see how I'm doing that, and I'm left with 0 point. So just put where you, at this point, as you can see, where is I shared the 1.25, you make a mark at 1.25 and at the beginning. So, and I'm going to come up by 2 inches on the hip. From the hip, I'll come up by 2 inches. I'll make a mark. Then I'm going to connect these lines right now. So I'm from the point of this bust point, you can come down by 1 inch, and you can come back down by 1.25. But on this tutorial, I'm going to take 1 inch down. So I'm going to connect this 1 inch taking to the point of my dart, and I'll bring it down again to the point. So now you can see I've done sharing, imputing my waist dart towards the hip direction. So now we are going to place the measurement of the waist. I have a round waist here of 30.5, and I'm going to divide 30.5 by 4. Then I will impute there. So the round waist divided by 4, I have 7.6, and I'll place my tape at the shoulder front, center front, and I'll be taking 7 point. This is 7.5 and this is 7.6. Remember, I have a dart intake of 1.25, and at this point I'm going to replace 1.25. This is my 1.25. Now the next thing we are going to do is to take the hip measurement, and the hip measurement here I have 36.5. I'm still going to share this 36.5, divided by 4. So my round hip 36.5 divided by 4, I have 9.1. So I'll be placing my tape on the hip line, and I'll be making a mark of 9.1. This is 9.1 here. So if you can see, I didn't take anything, so that's why I'm not replacing anything too. So I'm going to connect these lines with my pattern master. This is my round bust, this is my round waist plus the dart intake, and I'll connect. Then with my hip curve, you can also use your straight ruler, okay, but I want to make use of the hip curve for these connections. So you can see how I'm connecting, and I've connected. Okay, so now you can see I have my front bodies perfectly in place. Now what is left is our bust dart, and again the shoulder dart, princess dart. To achieve this shoulder princess that, I'm going to share the point of this my neckline to the shoulder drop into two. Okay, watch what I'm doing. I have a 4.75 or 4.75, and I'm going to share the 4.75, as you can see, and this is my center line. So I'm going to place it back to the neckline, and I'll make a mark here. Then at this mark, I'm going to connect it back. Watch how I'm connecting back to the bust point. Okay, you can see my connection right now. So the next thing we are going to do is to place our shoulder, our bust dart. The bust dart is taken by removing the front length. Okay, I have a video I will post on the description box below for you to know how to take your bust length measurement on your drafting, your back length and your front length. So my front length for this tutorial is 16 inches, and my back length is 14.5 inches. So 16 take away 14.5, I'm left with 1.5. So this 1.5 that I have is what I'm going to use for my bust dart. I'm taking it directly on the bust line. You can see the bust point line. I'll be placing my tape from that point, and I'm going to come down by 1.5. So I'm going to connect this 1.5 all the way to the bust point. Remember, we are manipulating our darts. That is why I'm connecting it there. So by the time I open up this, I'll be transferring this 1.5 to the shoulder. So watch me do that. So I'm done with my basic front bodice for this shoulder princess dart. So I'm going to cut off now, but note that this drafting has no seam allowances. Okay, no seam allowances at all. It's just your perfect body. But by the time you want to stitch on your fabric, you have to add your seam allowances all through the pattern. So watch me cut it to close up my dart, because I need to close up this dart. You can see the shaded area is the dart to achieve my shoulder princess dart. Okay, so I want you to watch. So before I start cutting off this pattern, I want to introduce to you that we are going to share this dart. So to accommodate this dart, when I have cut off the bust dart, I'm going to get the midpoint. You remember this is 1.5. that is the difference between the back length and the front length. I'm going to divide the 1.5. You can see how I'm dividing, and at that point I'm going to get my midpoint. This is my midpoint here. So I'm going to take from this midpoint all the way to the bust point, and I'm going to come out by 0.75. okay, from this point I'm coming out by 0.75. I'll make a mark, then I'm going to connect it back to the side line, back to the chest line. So having done this, when I cut off this dart, you are not going to have any shortage at all. So let us continue, start cutting. Then you start from your center. Then you cut up through the neckline. So you can see what I have here as my bodies. Now it's time for us to get our shoulder princess dart by manipulating our bust dart. So the very first thing I'm going to do is to cut through this line. I'm going to cut through this line, and I'll stop exactly at the bust point. You can see I have cut it. Okay, you see what I have. But for us to open up this dart, we need to close up the bust dart. So I'm going to cut off through this line, and you stop. Don't cut it off completely, okay, just a little, okay, you see, so you can swing it. You see what I'm doing, and I've closed it up. Okay, so I'm going to tape this. Now you can see I've opened this dart. Okay, I've transferred the bust dart right now to the shoulder dart. Okay, so I'm going to smoothen up this line to eliminate a little excess. Okay, connecting it back, then I'm going to cut it off. You can see that I've accommodated my dart now. So all right, so this is what I have right now. Okay, so I'm going to cut off through this line also. I'm going to go through this line all the way to this point to have my shoulder princess dart. So I'm going to cut off here. All right, so you can see that now. Okay, this is what I have to take off, as you can see. Okay, so I'm taking it off and I'm going to discard it. All right, so this is your shoulder princess dart. Now you are going to stitch up. Okay, you are going to add your seam allowances all through this pattern. So this is your shoulder princess dart by that manipulation. So thank you very much for watching. Please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell, like and share this video.